All right, everything should be set up. YouTube should be running as well. And then, 1 second, somehow I'm missing. There it is. All right, perfect. Got everything ready. All the windows open. Perfect. So, I will just start right away because the main focus for today is to show you the new direction of BD Capital and basically recording it, right? Because we are totally aware a lot of people are not paying attention right now in the Telegram. A lot of people do not have time to actually watch the AMA or listen to the AMA. So this is recorded. This will upload it to YouTube, of course, right afterwards, due to it being on YouTube Live. And then everyone has the chance to actually join and to re-listen everything for the future plans. Now I can tell you I am pretty, or let's say everyone is pretty hyped about the future plans we have, or better, let's say, which we made with Ron. So everyone should be right now aware of who actually is Ron. He is an investor in BD Capital, and he wants to help out, which is very, very, very nice of him, and which brings a lot of resources. We will talk about everything in detail as well, of course, because there is I wouldn't say another project tied to, or let's say in the talks to actually, like, you could say partner with us, but an actual upcoming blockchain, which is pretty big in itself, right? And as I said, last AMA run is basically freeing up some resources for us and enables us to head into the right direction with BD Capital. Now, the main focus for today, so this is my plan, especially for today, for the upcoming weekend, and also going into the next week, because then again, I'm aware not everyone is able to join. So I want to show you what we did think of, right? Our thought process behind everything, explaining why are we trying to structure things the way we are showing right now. And after this, right, so everyone basically has the ability to re-listen to a very clean AMA. You could say kind of a presentation. And then once everything or everyone is on the same, yeah, you could say knowledge, then we can actually start some discussion rounds, because you need to be aware this is not set in stone, right? This is not decided yet. This is what we think is the best possible direction for BD Capital in the future, especially with the resources of Ron chipping in, helping us out, and enabling a lot of the actual development work, right? So basically, this is, you could think of a proposal. We want to involve the community in it. We want to involve the community in the decision. Now, let's be aware of the fact that you cannot make it right for every single person in here, right? This is simply not possible for us. What I will present to you here is well thought, with different opinions from developers, from very, very experienced business people, as for example Ron is. So as I said again, in our opinion, this is the best option we have. Or let's say, yeah, you could say the best idea we could come up so far. So let's just jump right into it, right? Because I don't want to waste anyone's time. I know everyone is we are kind of excited to hear some details about the idea. So what you see here, I hope you can see it fine. I did zoom in a lot because I'm aware that my screen it's a pretty wide screen. So sometimes if I only share my screen, it could be pretty hard for people to actually read everything. Let's talk about the structure, right? Because what we did think of here with or for BD Capital is actually changing the whole base of the entire project. There are some positive aspects to it, there are some negative aspects to it, but then again, overall, the best option that we could think of at the moment, especially right now, right? Another thing I wanted to chip in here. I hope you didn't have any funds on FTX, on the exchange, with them freezing actual withdrawals and everything, with all of the stuff happening in the past few days in the crypto space. So this is yeah, very, very turbulent space, right? I hope everyone is fine, right? Just be aware. When Bitcoin was at, let's say, for example, $60,000, everyone would have wished for such prices, right? Because right now is a very, very good time. Even if it doesn't seem like it, right now is a very, very good time to actually invest. All right. So no more jumping around in the topics. Let's just hop right into everything here. So basically, for the structure that we did think of, we will basically have a treasury, right? You know, in the past we had our whale fund, or we called it a whale fund. It didn't really have a very, very strategic approach, you could say, into it. We never wanted to manage an actual fund ourselves, like actively. This takes a lot, like seriously, a lot of research if you're really, really trying to get down into actual DeFi investment. So what we came up with the actual fund back then was basically a community voted fund, right? So we would check different projects. Of course, we cannot make 100% sure everything is safe and everything is fine as an investment. We did say that multiple times, but in the end, the community decided if we wanted to invest money or if we do not want to invest money in any investment. Now, the thing with the fund is, we said this plenty of times before, this was a very, very, or is a very, very high risk fund, the way it is built up right now, or a very, very high risk treasury, you could say. Especially right now, right? You can see it all around the crypto space. Bear market did hit. Projects are down like 90-95% from the all-time high. This is nothing new while being in a bear market, especially for small altcoin projects. Now, what is important here, that we also want to change this whole structure, but we also want to focus a lot more into the actual treasury, right? So what will we actually do? You could say here a topic called shares, right? What we thought of, that we will make it's like a bad thing maybe to say an NFT collection, not an NFT collection in the usual way you would think of, but an actual NFT collection. Basically, every NFT is the same. We are not focused on art. We are not interested in art or something like this in the NFT space with BD Capital, right? These NFTs are only your personal share or your personal shares for the actual treasury. So if I read this out, we will have ERC 1155 collection that will act as shares of the hedge fund. The value of the share will be the nominal value based on the treasury funds divided by the circulating supply of shares. Now, just let me quickly explain this one. So basically, if we have in our treasury, right, a value of, let's just do simple math, of $10,000 or $100,000. 100,000 is even simpler to calculate, and we have 100 shares circulating around, then every share has a nominal value of $1,000, right? Because we have 100 shares, each price, or each with a nominal value of $1,000, and this is making up our treasury, or basically our treasury is making up the price for our shares, right? This is very important, very, very important, especially later on if we go into more detail here. The market value of the share will start from the nominal value plus all the factor that drives the value of a good in a secondary market, supply and demand, perspective of profit from the actual investment. So very simple, the actual value, right? So let's say you have 10 shares of the treasury, right? Each share has a nominal value of, you could say $1,000, because we have 100 shares in the circulating supply and $100,000 in total in our treasury. Now, of course, if we are not minting new shares, right, and people desperately wanted to invest into the project, they would need to buy their shares off the secondary market. So if you do not want to sell them for only, let's say $1,000, but you say, I want to sell them for, let's say, for example, $1,500, then the person is forced to actually buy them on the secondary market for the price you put them up, right? Very, very basic price finding here. This is the normal process also for a normal, you could say, NFT collection. Now with one big factor behind it, we have an actual value generated, right? We are not focusing on the art. We are not trying to do anything fancy here with the NFT collection. As I said before, every single NFT is the same. And all are only your treasury ticket, right? This is basically your treasury ticket. We will go into more detail while I'm scrolling through everything here. So if you're confused now, don't worry. I think a lot of the questions will actually be clear after this little presentation. Oh, I do not want this, like this. So we have dividends, right? The main idea of our whale fund was we are investing money as a project. This is our project, you could say, treasury. Chris was writing in YouTube, I'm liking the idea. Let's wait for the details. I think this is, like, honestly, this is a very, very, very good idea. The actual dividends, right? So this was the main idea behind the whale fund. This was the main idea behind the whole project. We wanted to give or build up a, yeah, you could say passive income generator, might be wrong, but a place in which people could actually invest their money in, and they will be rewarded, as for example with the BUSD rewards from the trade volume, or later on with actual payouts from our whale fund. Now this, of course, we do not want to lose this focus at all. We will have dividends, and these dividends, they will be paid out weekly through stable coins. Dividend amount, of course, will be the profit that the treasury earned in the last period and will be shared equally to each share through a collect system, right? So this is basically something we did think of behind the scenes as well. We are basically building up a collect system. The treasury is, while it's, yeah, you could say investing, especially in the DeFi space, making returns, and you will receive these returns, right? So everyone will still have a dividend, just as we intended to right from the start. Now, something which is a direction we always wanted to head in, but then again, there are some technical aspects which are pretty tricky sometimes. There are some things which stand in our way to actually move into this direction, is building an actual DAO. So a DAO is basically every single shareholder is able to give advice or vote on projects' decisions, just as it reads out here. That DAO will allow shareholders to give advice or vote on the project's decisions through a democratic voting system weighing the number of shares held. Now, of course, if you are a big holder, if you have a lot of shares, your actual vote will be, of course, heavier than the vote of someone who is only holding one share, right? This is also very important. we are still in the crypto space. We did discuss if we wanted to implement this. I still think this is a very, very needed thing which needs to be added into a new base, right? If we are restructuring things, we want to restructure everything in the best possible way for us, for the holders, for every single investor, and actually building a true value here with the project, right? Not just being another name in the crypto space floating around, another project which had a big pump. Now it had a dump. Now the bear market did hit, and now in the next bull run we might or we might not make it, right? This is not what we want to do. We want to build value. Of course, sometimes you're hitting certain certain walls which are pretty hard to overcome. But as you can see here, the very base, the core idea of the project is still the same. We are focusing on passive income. This is still the same direction as it has been since launch, right? We never had another intention for the project, so this is of course something which we do not want to change at all. Of course, with a whole foundation, you could say, for the actual base, with building up a collection of ERC 1155 NFTs with a DAO in which people are actually able to vote, and very important as well, where people are actually able to vote with their weight, right? This is also a very important part, because right now, if we take a look, for example, at Telegram votes, this is nice and need to have, but then again, this is not a voting system which I am a real fan of, honestly. So this for the base. Now we are talking about NFTs, right? If we're talking about NFTs, there's always some sort of mint process or minting of shares or stuff like this. So let's just take a quick look into this one. I'll just read it out again and explain on the way. New shares can be minted at each time in exchange for the market value that the share has. Just a quick example here. A new investor wants to join the hedge fund with an investment of 10K. And the shares have a floor market value of 1K. 10 new shares will be minted and 10K added to the treasury, keeping the same share circulating supply and treasury funds ratio, avoiding diluting old shareholders. This is also a pretty important part here, which we did think of. Since we do want to focus heavily on building the treasury, and since we do not want to dilute anyone, not a new shareholder, not an old shareholder, it should be the same investment system for every single holder, right? This is why we would implement this. Now, of course, this minting of shares is not always open, right? We can control, or let's say, for example, we can set up a DAO vote in which we say, all right, we would open up the treasury for, let's say, for example, $10,000 more of investment. If there are people out there which are not able to grab some NFTs on the secondary market but are keen to actually invest, they can directly invest into the treasury. Now, this is also a very important fact here, right? The people. So let's compare the situation right now, right? Right now, we have a crypto token, Banker Stream, right? You can openly, or yeah, it's publicly traded on PancakeSwap. Now, if someone wants to buy the token, the price depends purely on the market cap. Basically the same, or you could say the same base mechanism behind the price finding, but then again, if you want to buy in, the market cap is high, you will receive less tokens for your investment, right? Here we are trying to keep the actual ratios the same, the treasury fund ratio and the circulating supply ratio. This is very important here. Now, another very, very important part here is, if you take a look right now, the way it is set up right now, let's say, for example, you are investing $1,000. Now, your $1,000 are going into liquidity minus the tax, right? So we have a certain tax. This is getting collected by the smart contract, and the rest is directly going into liquidity. Now, the liquidity is there to actually enable trading for the token, right? So if someone wants to sell, he will actually take out money from the liquidity pool. But this money there in the liquidity, this is no working money, right? This is nothing which can be used by the treasury or something else. This is only there to guarantee exit liquidity for older investors, right? So if someone wants to sell his Banker Stream tokens, he will actually take the money out of the liquidity. We have another solution here, right? We have another solution here. We will talk about it here. But in here, you are directly handling or directly investing into the actual project, not into a liquidity pool, which is just lying around, being there if someone wants to exit, right? This is actual working money there. This is a very, very important part here, very important part. So you could think of what we are trying to do here. We have our NFT collection, and we are building, or let's say placing, a liquidity pool behind this NFT collection. Because the main, or let's say one of the main problems in NFT collections is you always need to sell them on the secondary market, right? Normally, there's no way for you to actually liquidate your NFT if you have an emergency at home, if you need some money, because there are bills to pay, right? Whatever reason. It can be tough if right now, for example, in the general market is very, very low volume. It can be quite tough to actually sell your NFT. Because you need to sell it on the secondary market. You need to list it on OpenSea. Someone needs to take a look at it. Someone needs to say, hey, I like the price, I like the NFT, I will buy it. And then you will receive your exit liquidity, right? So what we are trying to do, we have a liquidity pool. We could say liquidity pool for the NFTs, but this is a working liquidity pool, right? So if someone is investing and minting new shares, this is directly going into the liquidity pool. Now, the big catch comes later, right? We're not quite there yet. I will just take a look here. Have you looked into Depbox nodes, which turned into an NFT once the node supply sale out? Passive income daily as well as drip token 1% a day. Just a suggestion. This is Chris Cheru. Nice, Chris. Can you, I haven't heard of this one yet, honestly. Can you send me something like, for example, I think the easiest would be Telegram. Just send me over the information and we can take a look at it, right? I can take a look at it with Ron, with the developers of Ron, and we could think of a way if this might be something which could be interesting for us. Because from the sound of it, this sounds very interesting. All right. Already a lot of info coming in here. Let's take a look at the actual treasury, right? As we said before, we never wanted to actually manage, you could say, a hedge fund or a treasury or actual investments, which needed some management. This will completely change here, right? This will completely change here. So this is still the very, very basic stuff, right? There are a lot more things which are behind this idea. Now, again, you need to follow me on the idea of this AMA. We want to share the basic idea. We want to discuss this idea in later AMAs. And then we can decide as a community if this is an idea we want to keep. Now, again said, we cannot make every single person happy, right? But this treasury, we did think of a certain risk profile, right? It's very important to have a risk profile, otherwise you run into issues as we have right now, for example. If you're just, you could say randomly investing throughout the crypto space, we try to make it, you could say, healthier from the actual risk management side by investing into blue chips as well. But then again, that the risk in our actual fund right now is super, 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 super high, right? This is no way you can actually, you could manage a treasury like this one, like the one we're talking about right now. So in here, the profile, let me do it like this. The profile risk will be kept low. So most of the treasury, around 80%. This is just as we said again, the basic idea we did come up with. Most of the treasury, 80%, should be in strategies where the initial capital invested is not at risk, hedge position or delta neutral strategies, right? Or where the risk from the position can be calculated and limited closely. This is very, 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 very important, especially if you take a look at market conditions as they are right now. So the main focus right now, for example, with the treasury, should be to maintain its value at the moment. You can achieve this by using different methods, as for example, hedging against your position, or as it says here, delta neutral strategies. This is all something which might be common for people which are in the DeFi space, like in the actual DeFi space, and taking a look at a lot of different DeFi investments, right? This is also the reason why most of the treasury, as you can see here, 80%, should be lying in such strategies. Now again, there is a catch, right? You need to actually manage it, you need to monitor it, but we already found a possible solution for this part, right? Because then again, I have a lot of skills, for example, AJ has a lot of skills, but actually handling a hedge fund and doing this in a responsible and responsible way, this is none of our skills. So this is kind of very, very important here. The other, for example, 20% part of the treasury will be allocated for riskier, you can see here, degen investments like early meme tokens or more leveraged, there's a typo here, DeFi strategies. You still want the benefits, right? All of us want the benefits of the crypto space. The biggest benefit of the crypto space is that you can 100x, 500x, 1000x your money if you are lucky in one of your investments, right? This is the big benefit in the crypto space. This is a lot harder to achieve in the traditional markets, right? If we only wanted to invest in very, very, you could say, risk-free investments, then we could also head into the traditional market segment. But then again, we are all here because of crypto. We all love crypto. We all love the basic idea of BD Capital. So of course, parts of it will be used for this one as well. Especially since we do have some positions which, let's say the team, no one here is is ready to liquidate and dump on the other project, right? We have some bigger holdings as well, as we said before, from the whole consulting part and everything. We did as a BD Capital team for other projects. We have a lot of Ember tokens, which are quite valuable now at the moment. Ember was basically the replacement project of Coyote. Or not say replacement project, it is a whole different project in itself. Now Coyote itself, as some of you might remember, it took a very, very sad turn with an actual rug pull of the dev there. But parts of the Coyote team wanted to continue, and they wanted, or they really did their best to actually build a project for their people. And this is, for example, one of the things we partnered with them. We exchanged. We did receive quite a big allocation there for our fund and for the Beast Fund as well. And these are things which we are like we cannot liquidate them for a potential new treasury, right? This was not part of the deal. So these, for example, will just flow into the treasury and work for the treasury right now. Now, back to the topic. Overall profile should keep a drawdown lower than 10% and an APR of around 30 and 50%. So these are, we could say, for the crypto space, quite conservative numbers. But then again, this is what you want to aim at, especially with a very, very big treasury in the future. Right? This is what we want to focus on. This is why we are still in a kind of good position, right, compared to other projects. Now, don't get me wrong here. It's still the very, very bad bear market situation, bad or down badly from the all-time high and everything, right? But then again, still in a good position, and we want to maintain this. We want to build up the base from here. And this is why we are heading for this. You could say really, this is a hedge fund which is issuing this NFT collection, and this NFT collection has the treasury sitting there as actual liquidity pool. You will understand what I'm talking about in a second. For the dividends, they will be paid. They will be paid in chosen periods, weeks, bi-weekly or monthly, right? Whatever, and will be shared as stable through a collect action from the shareholder. So they are accumulating, but in this situation, you need to actually collect this. You need to put down a minimum amount of work. You need to collect them and you will receive them. Each share will get the portion divided that it's eligible for, right? Of course, every single share, since we are not talking about any art stuff or rarity stuff for this NFTs, every share has the same amount of or portion of dividend allocated. And the more shares you hold, the more shares you have, the more you will be able to actually collect from this dividend. Now we need this little collect part here. This is basically because of of being seen as an actual security, right? Now this sounds very, very financially everything of this, but of course we want to avoid this whole, you could say, discussion with being, or avoid it as best as we can. Being seen as a security and all of that. That's why we need this collect action from the shareholder. It is accumulating, don't worry. There is no time frame that you can actually miss to collect and then your dividend is gone. This will not happen, of course, but if you want to receive them, you need to actually collect them. This is the main idea behind this. All right. Now comes a very, very interesting part. I was talking a lot about we are building a liquidity pool for NFTs. Main issue with NFTs is you cannot sell them whenever you want to sell them. This is why tokens might be better for a lot of people, because you can always sell them. Now, what do we have planned for, or what was in our mind when building this? Because this was also something which was bothering me a lot when the talks came up of heading into a NFT collection, right? This was bothering me a lot because right now, if you wanted to sell your banks, you can always sell your banks, right? No one is holding you back. Only the liquidity pool is holding you back, right? If you wanted to sell $1,000 worth of banks, you can sell them. You will, of course, minus tax, right? We will not talk about the tax right now, but minus tax, and you will receive the money directly out of the liquidity pool. This is the reason the liquidity pool is there. You need a pool which is only reserved for this liquidation. NFTs normally do not have such a pool, right? Now we did think of different options. because then again, I was bothered a lot. Of course, we are a coin project. People do not want to miss the benefits of holding an actual coin compared to a NFT, right? I wouldn't want to miss the benefit of being able to liquidate whenever I want to. So we came up with a pretty nice solution here. Let's just, I will keep it this way. First option for a shareholder to liquidate his money, right? To pull out his value from the project. Of course, the public market, right? As you all know, there is, for example, OpenSea. You can list this NFT just as a normal NFT on, for example, OpenSea, or through a private transaction, right? This is also possible. You can also privately sell NFTs with certain third-party programs. This is the normal way, the usual way, right? I say, all right, I want to sell. I have, for example, 10 of this treasury tickets here, and I want to sell one treasury ticket because I need money right now. So I will list it on OpenSea for $1,000, for example, and I will hope that someone is willing to buy the actual NFT. So I'm giving away my right of receiving this fund income. I'm giving away my right to actually vote on the DAO and all of that benefits, but I will receive my money for it. You can be lucky and it sells instantly, or you can be unlucky and the volume for this particular NFT collection is pretty low, and it's just sitting there. And this is also the time in which this NFT prices struggle a lot, right? If a lot of people want to sell, and if not so many people want to actually buy the NFT, people are listing the NFT, let's say, for example, for $1,000, then the next person comes and lists it because he wants to sell it faster than the other person, right? So he's not also listing it for $1,000, but he's listing it for, let's say, for example, $990. And this game goes on and goes on and goes on until the people talk in this terms of sweeping the floor price, until people are willing to buy the NFTs and are buying them from the actual floor price there. This is something which I wanted to avoid at all costs, to be the only way of liquidation for the NFTs. Right? I'm not a fan of this liquidation system. If I have something, especially right here, we are not talking about art or something like this. This is simply a treasury ticket. I am receiving my treasury dividend from it. I am able to vote in the DAO with this treasury ticket or with this NFT. If I want to sell it, I should be able to sell it whenever I want to. This is when we came up with the second solution as well. You will be able to directly cash out the nominal value of the share from the treasury and therefore burning the respective share. Right? This is very important. So let's get back to our calculation we had before. Let's say, for example, we have a treasury worth $100,000 and we have 100 shares or NFTs, whatever you want to call them right now. So the nominal value of each share is $1,000, right? Because 100,000, which is the treasury, divided by 100 shares in the circulating supply, brings the value, the actual value, this is also very important, brings the value of each share to $1,000. So if I wanted to sell them, we are implementing this direct cash out method, in which you are able to burn your NFTs, right? They will get out of the circulation completely, they will be burned, and the actual money will be taken out of the treasury directly, and therefore making the treasury as well, not only this investment vehicle we have behind everything, but also, in addition to that, an actual liquidity pool for the NFTs. And this is quite a big thing, because you are not forced, if you wanted to, right? because there's always the possibility that your NFT might sell for, or every single share might sell for more on the public market, for example. Because, yeah, let's say we are not, as we have on the top here, we are currently not minting any new shares. This is closed right now. We are only taking, for example, investments of minimum $10,000. And then we will open the treasury for a mint without, very important here as well, without diluting old shareholders, right? So there might be the option that an NFT might sell not only for $1,000, but maybe for $1,200 if you're lucky, right? If someone really wants to invest his money into BD Capital, then he might be forced to buy it for a higher value than, well, where do we have it? For a higher value than if you were cashing out directly. Because cashing out directly is taking only the nominal value, right? The actual value is always influenced by a lot of different things as well. Now, let's say two different questions here. I start with question one. Why are we burning this respective share which is getting cashed out? Very simple. The same way, or the same, you could say, thought process we had when we are saying we are minting new shares, right? Normally, if a project is minting, let's say, for example, the mint price is 1 ETH or 1 Ethereum. So you need to pay 1 Ethereum for 1 NFT. This 1 Ethereum minus a few taxes and whatever is getting directly into the deployer wallet, right? So the actual team is receiving the 1 ETH. Now, whatever the team is deciding to do with this 1 ETH, yeah, they will do with it, right? If they want to pay marketing with it, they will pay marketing with it. If they want to do other stuff, if they need to pay out different things, they will pay different things. Now, if we are minting shares, or if we are opening up the mint, let's say, for example, again here for a $10,000 investment, if we are opening up the treasury for a $10,000 investment, the person will only receive the same nominal value as every shareholder had before, and this money is directly going into the treasury as well. So more money to work with for the treasury, not diluting any old holders. This is something which could be quite tricky, right? So let's say, for example, you have you would have a NFT collection which is starting at 100 NFTs circulating supply, and now over time you are minting and minting and minting more and more NFTs, and at some point you will have 10,000 NFTs in the circulating supply. Now, of course, the initial 100 NFTs, they will be heavily diluted by the fact that we did mint and mint and mint. Let's just say we did have like this mint party going on, and we did just pump out the NFTs and pump them out, right? This is diluting old holders. This is something which we definitely need to avoid. But then again, also the same way around. This is why we need to burn the NFT. Now, we did talk of, all right, we could hold the NFT in a team wallet, for example, or not a team wallet, but I would better say a company wallet you could think of, and this is generating money for the company as well. But then again, there's one main problem, right? At some point, maybe when a lot of people bought NFTs and a lot of people directly cashed out NFTs and minted new NFTs, at some point this company wallet will be pretty big. Now, not bad, of course, if you're talking from the company side, because the company will receive like the majority of the dividends here. But then again, bad for every single shareholder. They did get diluted the same way as we would have before if we did it this way. This is why we need to actually burn the share. We need to keep the ratio the same, so it is the fairest process for every single person in here. All right, a lot of a lot of input there at once. One last point here. Of course, I will upload this to the Telegram, Discord, Twitter as well, everywhere we need it. And again, we will have discussion AMAs. I'm planning the first one. It's either Saturday evening for me or Sunday throughout the day. I'm trying to cover different time zones there as well for the discussions. So I want to give everyone the possibility to re-listen. Ron already said he will listen to the replay as well. Yeah, he's already, as you might know, pretty familiar with this whole idea. But then again, of course, he also wants to listen into the AMAs. Want to give everyone the possibility to re-listen, to let it sink in, to think about it, and then put up any ideas, any concerns, anything, any input from the community is needed, right? And then we will talk about more details, because I can already tease some of the details. I guess, right? Didn't ask for permission because these are still ideas, but then again, might be something. First, let's finish up the last point first. Mainstream of revenue for BD Capital. Of course, you need to have a sort of revenue stream. Otherwise, you are not able to pay any marketing or other stuff, right? Very, very important. BD Capital as a project will retain X% as a management fee for the capital held on behalf of the investors, right? So basically from the treasury. All right, this is a rather weird message here in the YouTube. Best adult dating site. Let me just quickly remove that one. Don't want to have this here. All right. Of course, just as a company works, as we have the tax, for example, right now, which is paying for different things, we need to have a kind of revenue stream for the actual company. Otherwise, it cannot work otherwise, right? But I think everyone is aware of the fact. Now, this is a pretty based idea already, in our opinion. Everyone who was involved into this whole process of coming up with the idea, as you can see, with it, think of many different things. Still, in our opinion, this is the best possible solution for us. Now, a very important part here is this needs to be done while the bear market is currently, right? So this is also why we are pretty much doing a lot of brain work behind the scenes at the moment, checking with for example, the dev, what is possible, what is not possible, what are we able to do in a certain time frame, because we need to do something. This is basically changing the whole foundation, right? We are moving from a coin to an NFT collection, which is not bad at all. Again, my opinion, because you always have the option to liquidate your funds immediately. This is, let's keep it this way, way more stable than before, right? Way more stable than before. Because you need to also think of the fact that, let's rewind the time a little bit, at our pump, in which we did a lot of access with the coin. The main issue was, and this is always a main issue, especially for smaller projects, the actual liquidity ratio, right? So the ratio behind the liquidity and the actual market cap is always very bad. Bad in the position of investors. This ratio of, for example, let's say 10%, in which you have a $1 million market cap and 100,000 actual dollars in liquidity, which might be taken away. This basically means that the market cap is every single token at a certain token price, multiplied together. This builds the market cap. But as you can see, there's no way at this market cap of 1 million that every single investor could get his money at the market cap of 1 million. This is one of the main issues with coins and their market caps. This is also the reason why You might run into some struggles as a very, 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 very big holder of a smaller project to actually liquidate your money, right? You are not able to liquidate it in one go. Most of the times, the smart contract will actually, um, yeah, not make this possible, this option possible. Um, but then again, this is one of the main issues. What happens if you sell now, right? The money is taken out of the liquidity pool again. So let's say, for example, if you sell for $1,000, this is not only affecting the market cap by $1,000, right? This is affecting the market cap by a very, very big multiply of it. So this is one of the main issues with tokens. We are kind of avoiding this very pumpy-dumpy scheme with this NFT collection. Still keeping a liquidity pool for the NFTs. So if anyone is not happy with the solution, doesn't like the way it goes, or doesn't, yeah, whatever it is, he's always able to liquidate it. And this is very, very important, especially for me personally. I do not want to have any single thing there locked behind a, let's say, for example, secondary market or something like this. This would be very, very bad. Very bad for us. Now, a very, very important part here as well is with this change. We have a liquidity pool right now as a token. This is only working as exit liquidity, right? This is not being used. It's not able, no one is able to use it for another thing. If we set this structure up, then of course there's a lot of details and technical things coming up. But then again, we would take the liquidity pool of the token. Everyone would receive shares in the same ratio as he has BD Capital tokens or Banker Stream tokens at the moment. And we will move the liquidity pool and we will move it over to the treasury. So what are we doing here effectively? We are taking a liquidity pool which is not working at all, right? This is only lying there as exit liquidity. We are taking this pool, moving it into the treasury. Now this is again the part in which the actual treasury deploy is very, very important. This is why we cannot risk this money in a super risky portfolio, right? This is the reason why we actually need to have, you could even say, zero risk positions. You are able in DeFi to put up zero risk positions by hedging against your position. They are, of course, not making 100% APY or something like this, but they are making a decent return. And this is a safe position. This is why the majority, maybe not even only 80%, but the majority needs to lie in these very, very safe positions, because this is the actual liquidity. This is our liquidity pool, right? This enables us to not only have our liquidity, which is, I would call, lazy money right now, as working money, but also as an exit liquidity for every single shareholder out there, right? Very, very important here. We are taking, you could say, a dead liquidity pool, building a liquidity pool or indirect liquidity pool for NFTs, and then again saving everything. This is a lot to take. This was a lot to work on, like from the brain power side, you could say, right? A lot of work, a lot of thoughts were put into this, and again, a lot of things which we talked through. I can already see tunnel typing. I'm happy about that one. Just now, again, as we said before, this is a concept idea, right? There's two important parts. Whatever direction we move in, we need to move into this direction as fast as possible, because we need to build actual value, right? If you compare it right now, BD Capital doesn't really have actual value right now. If you're really talking about the business side, We do not have actual value, aside from community and all of that stuff, right? If we do this, we are taking this liquidity pool and we are building actual value for the shares. This is also very important. If we take a look, where was it written? Rose, please. If we take a look here, this is also the reason why the NFTs will have a actual nominal value, right? Very important here. It's not only a floor price, it's an actual nominal value. This is very important. So there's no way, if we take, let's say for example, if we take the liquidity, our treasury, and we're only investing in this very, very risk-free positions here, which are not doing a lot of returns, right? But they are doing some decent returns. If you're taking a look from the traditional finance side, these are still some very, very, very good returns, right? But then again, they are, since they are hedged against and all of that stuff, they are pretty safe. So there's no way that our, you could say, floor price on the secondary market would crumble under the actual nominal value. Very important here. This is technically not possible because we always have this second option here, right? Directly cashing out. Why would someone... There might be people, right? Don't get me wrong here. I'm not calling anyone dumb, but there might be people. People are sometimes buying stuff and then selling it again and have no clue what they actually bought there. There might be people who would list the actual NFT under the nominal value, which they could cash it out directly for. Well, then I personally would directly buy it and just simply cash it out directly for more money, right? This is the reason why an actual very low floor price is not possible because of the nominal value. Now I'm taking Tunnel's message here. 1 second. I missed the start, but I think I get the point. Believe it or not, but last month I've been thinking same. Coin plus liquidity system won't work. Yeah, yeah. One major problem, never. One way is NFT as value holder. Good to see we move in correct direction. It's funny that we basically had that you had the same thoughts as we had. Now this is actually a very big part of it, right? Coin plus liquidity, like there are situations in which coins or stuff like this are very useful. For example, if you are let's say you are building up social media, or let's keep it on the current news, right? If it's true that Elon Musk and CZ Binance are actually working on WeChat for the West, so WeChat is basically this Chinese thing which is all over basically Asia. You can do anything on WeChat, right? Pay someone, send someone money, chat, whatever you want to do, you can do it on WeChat. If they wanted to build it for the Western world, then you would need, for example, a payment system. And you would never use an NFT as a payment system. But if you have a coin as a payment system, of course, this is the best use case for crypto that I could think of right from the batch. But a coin plus liquidity is very hard to manage, especially since the liquidity pool and the market cap and the ratios, they are so heavily diluted, right? Heavily diluted. Now, I'm not talking about actual blockchains, right? Don't get me wrong here. Talking about tokens, for example. But yeah, this is a lot of details to take in. This is also the reason why I wanted to make this AMA and this whole recording more, yeah, you could say focused on information, let it sink in for everyone, and then open up discussions in which everyone can either hop on voice chat or can hop in the Telegram chat or whatever is most preferred for the person, and everyone can basically pull up what he thinks is wrong, what he thinks is good, right? We need to have a lot of input. with this base idea. As I said before, this is not set in stone, but this, and a lot of people put their actual brain power in here, right? Not only developers which are developing right now an actual blockchain, not just forking it, they are developing the actual blockchain. This is also something which we will talk about as well. Ron is basically building a blockchain, and we are able to use the resources for, yeah, there are some things behind it, right? Don't want to get into detail there, but he's enabling us that we could use the NXT, this is what it's called, NXT, the NXT resources for BD Capital. And this is huge. I can tell you, this is huge. There are a lot of skilled people we are talking to, as I said before, not only from the crypto side, but also from the business side, right? These are not just technical people there. Ron, for example, he's, as he did write in the chat as well, he's a serial founder. He's super experienced from the business side. I can tell you, super experienced. And it's very, very valuable to have this kind of opinions influencing the future of BD Capital. I myself think I'm still a very, very big fan of this base idea. As I said before, this is just a base idea. We need to talk about it as a community, then we can decide. But then again, very important that we move forward, that we build in the bear market, and that we are ready for the actual bull market, right? It's very, very important. Very important. All right. With this, I would say a big thank you for everyone either listening it live or listening to the recording. It still gets me very, very excited to be able to actually talk about the future of BD Capital, but then again, we will see what the people come up with, right? So, as usual, tell us what you don't like, tell us what you like, tell us your ideas for it, and we can talk about everything, right? Thank you all. Thanks for the update. Thank you for listening in. Okay, I would end the AMA here. Keep your eyes out. I will schedule a discussion AMA, most likely I would say most likely Saturday, right? Not super sure about the time yet, and then like 1 to 2 more discussion AMAs at other time zones throughout next week, so we can actually have everyone there, or everyone has the chance to join, and we can talk about the things, the issues, whatever's coming up. Valuable info to go forward with. Yes, we need to move forward, right? I'm getting very, very exhausted the way it is right now, I can tell you. So I'm super glad. I'm super glad Ron did reach out and offered not only some help, he offered big time help. So very glad about this situation, because as you can see, we can actually work on building real value here. So this is what makes me really happy at the moment. All right, we'll end the video call. Oh yeah, the AMA, and whatever it is, just write it in the chat. Thank you everyone, and we will hear each other very soon again. All right, bye people.